Giancalro Esposito did it again. He recently did an interview talking about Moff Gideon in Star Wars The Mandalorian and the extra special qualities that we don't know about Moff Gideon yet. Ooh, baby, wait till you hear this. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button and let's get right into this report. Now, I saw this pop up on Deadline. This is an interview that they did with Giancalro Esposito, and I'm going to go through a couple of different things that he says in this article, and then we're going to nerd the F out about what it could mean. Okay, so it says here, one piece of The Mandalorian's cliffhanger is following Gideon's TIE fighter crash. He cuts a hole for himself out of his damaged spaceship with the famed Darksaber, a weapon from deep dive Star Wars mythology that drove fans nuts. You'll see more of the Darksaber. You'll get an explanation of this ancient weapon to the modern world, a collapsed world, Esposito said today. Where did this saber come from and how was it revived? It's a key in our second season, which will be back sooner than later. The saber is a key to Moff Gideon's past, which possibly has a lot to do with where he comes from and his desire to build a planet and bring it back together, added Esposito. In regard to his inspiration for playing Gideon, Esposito gives full props to the late Peter Cushing, who played Grand Moff Tarkin in the original 1977 Star Wars movie. You could always read his mind through his eyes. I took a look at the imagery of this Supreme Chancellor, which really helped me. He is a supreme being in a sense. He knows it, but not everyone in the universe knows it. Esposito teases what we don't know is how extra special he is yet. Okay, so that's what's in the article. Now, we've done videos about this recently as well because Esposito keeps teasing this out. He keeps saying that he's one of the ones. He's teasing out this thing with him being force sensitive. But this article to me reads a little different. It reads a little different than him just saying he's force sensitive. It's almost like he watched the video that I did and said, well, yeah, he is force sensitive, but that's not enough. I've got to give the nerds a little bit more here because it's more than him just being force sensitive. And the fact that Esposito is talking about the Darksaber and where it comes from in this ancient world and bringing it into the modern world and trying to rebuild a planet, all of that to me seems way too much like Mandalorian stuff. I think it is possible that Moff Gideon could be a descendant of Tarre Visla. I mean, he says here, the saber is a key to Moff Gideon's past, which possibly has a lot to do with where he comes from and his desire to build a planet and bring it back together. So is Moff Gideon a descendant of Tarre Visla? Does he consider himself to be the rightful ruler of Mandalore? And what exactly is going on with Mandalore? And what's really interesting about this is, even though the show is called The Mandalorian, we know very little of the current state of Mandalore, the planet. We can assume that the Great Purge, which is discussed on the show, was some kind of an event in which Mandalore was beaten down, broken by the Imperials. They must have taken a lot of the Beskar, and this we can kind of see mirrored in the attitudes of the Mandalorians in The Forge. When the Mandalorian himself comes back with the Imperial stamped Beskar, he's literally talking about the people that destroyed them, that make it so they have to live like rats. That's the Imperials. So obviously, when we last left Mandalore, we saw Bo-Katan raising the Darksaber. She was going to be the rightful ruler of Mandalore. Well, now Moff Gideon has the Darksaber, and we think the Great Purge likely happened after the last time we saw Bo-Katan leading her people. Now, we also know that Mandalore itself has had a crisis of identity in the new lore. There were old Mandalorians that were very war-hungry, battle-hardened warriors, and then there were a new sect of Mandalorians that wanted peace, that wanted to be a nice culture, to have, you know, art and philosophy and all these other things, and that ran counter to the old ways of Mandalore, the more war ways of Mandalore. So did Moff Gideon participate in the Great Purge, take back the Darksaber? Is he force sensitive and also a descendant of Tarre Visla, and has he positioned himself as the rightful leader of Mandalore? That would be absolutely nuts. And I think the train of thought I have been on just since his introduction in The Mandalorian Season 1 is that here is a guy that likely wants to take control of whatever is left over of the Empire. The Empire is over. It's just remnants of the Empire. But we know from other works in the canon that there was sort of this bidding for power among different Moffs, among different high-ranking Imperial officers. They all wanted to self-appoint as the new Emperor and collect all the power around them. Well, is Moff Gideon one of those people, and is he force sensitive and therefore believes that he could totally replace the Emperor and he wants to create a new empire? Look, we don't know, but this is a lot of teasing that Giancarlo Esposito is doing about the Moff Gideon character potentially being force sensitive and having a connection to Tarre Visla or to the Darksaber itself. That is fascinating to me, and an additional part of this is the rumors that we will actually see Bo-Katan in the show. We're going to see Bo-Katan. We're going to see Ahsoka. We're going to see Sabine. Like, we're going to see all of these characters coming to a head. Are they all headed back to Mandalore to have some kind of an epic bout with Moff Gideon? And then there's, of course, Baby Yoda. Why does Moff Gideon want Baby Yoda so badly? Is he turning him? Does he want a new dark apprentice? Is he going to try to, like, get midichlorians out of Baby Yoda to enhance his own force ability? Was that an ancient Mandalorian Jedi technique or something strange like that? Whatever's going on, it's super interesting to me. I think the bottom line is this. I believe with everything we've been hearing about Season 2 of The Mandalorian, it's jumping into a whole new level. It's going to be a whole new level of a show. I think it's going to be much bigger in scope, telling a much more grand story, and it's possible we see the political intrigue of Mandalore and the history of Moff Gideon and how he's involved with all of that sort of play out with the show. And the reason I find this so interesting is because it adds this extra weight to Din Djarin's arc, to Baby Yoda's arc, to Cara Dune's arc, where this is potentially a character that could have taken over the galaxy, that could have brought the Empire back from the brink. Now, we know that didn't end up happening, so we know the heroes prevail. But it adds just this extra weight to the show, knowing that this dude is that bad and could have caused a whole different set of circumstances for the galaxy at large, revivified the Empire, and then crushed out the rebellion. That's big time stakes, and I absolutely love it. But that's the report about Giancarlo Esposito getting this guy way too hyped up about it, and then all of my speculation about what it could mean. I want to know what you think about this, so let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And now let's shout out Hezi28. Yes, indeed, the dog in the David Matt Fraction Hawkeye run is known as Pizza Dog. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, what is the name of the lizard horse-like creatures that Kuiil makes the Mandalorian tame and ride in The Mandalorian? Answer that question in the comment section below. If you like this video, make sure you like it, and if you like the content over here, you might enjoy the live streams we do over on our live streaming channel 5 days a week. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.